How you doing today, Chris?
Hey,
Everything going good your way?
everything's going great.
Awesome. I'm happy you're doing the podcast with me today.
I'm glad to be here.
So yeah, I loved Bad Girls. It was amazing, and so far it's probably one of my favorite films of this year. Yeah,
Oh,
it's pure craziness, and I loved it.
thank you so much.
Welcome. What were some of the what was it like filming all those like crazy driving scenes and stuff like that? What were some of the biggest obstacles that you had to go through, like filming Bad Girls?
Well, I guess the fact that it was sort of all done guerrilla style, so we weren't really asking permission for a lot of the locations and things we were doing. Speaking of the cars, there's scenes we did where we just like drove down a public highway and we're like running other cars off the road, and there were other people on the road at the time, and we're waving like fake guns out of windows and stuff like that. It's kind of amazing that we'd have the cops called on us, but we tried our best to do the get those shots when there wasn't a lot of other traffic on the road. But inevitably, every time we went to do a shot, like some car would come up behind us, and so we just sort of had to go with it because we were just trying to get it done as quickly as possible.
Oh, that's crazy. I bet those people are like, "What the hell's going on here?"
Yeah, I mean, even if they didn't see the fake gun that we had, they definitely saw like a car like veering off of the road, like onto the shoulder in a kind of a dangerous way. So, um, but that's the guy that owns all the cars that we use. This guy named Rob. Rob and his girlfriend Shauna owned all the cars that we used, and they did all the stunt driving too. So they were more than happy to do it, and they thought it was funny. And we didn't do anything that was actually dangerous to anybody, but it still would have looked really weird to other people on the road that didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, if I was to drive by and see them, like, what the hell's going on? Is that going to be on the news tonight? You know?
Yeah, yeah. And everybody's got a phone, so it's just a wonder that somebody didn't call that in, and but we would have been gone. Like, I mean, that's the thing. We work so quickly that even if someone had called the cops, we would have been miles away by the time the cops showed up.
What were some of your influences for making Bad Girls? Like,
Well, I mean, the stuff that I'm mostly into is genre films from particularly the 70s and 80s. So, anything that would be considered like a drive-in movie. Horror is really my big thing, but I also love action and you know I love like women in prison movies and stuff like that. And but specifically two movies that I could name that probably were a big influence on Bad Girls would be Faster Pussycat Kill Kill, the Russ Meyer film, and Doom Generation, the Greg Araki film from the 90s. Those two specifically probably informed a lot of what we were doing on Bad Girls.
yeah, I can definitely see that. It has that grindy feeling from, back in the day. You capture that really well. Like, it feels like it was something from back then. It's super fucking edgy and this fucking full
Thanks.
octane, man.
And the thing about it is that I wasn't really trying to make like a throwback movie. I wasn't trying to make like a fake grindhouse movie. It's just that I love those movies so much that I think I can't make anything other than that, if that makes any sense.
Right.
Like the way I see a shot is informed by the shots that I've seen, and so everything just sort of comes out maybe in that kind of 70s or 80s style, the lighting and everything. And I mean, part of that is just that we don't have the budget to afford like good lights and stuff, so everything does have a little bit of a cheapness to it, but it's never intentional. We never like set out to like make a cheap looking movie, or like a intentionally campy movie. Like, it's like I love a lot of trauma movies,
Hmm.
but I feel like a lot of times movies that either Trauma makes or distributed by Trauma, like they're intentionally trying to make a bad movie, and I don't want to do that. Like I want to make the best movie I can make on the budget I have, which is really small. So it just so happens that you're limited by having such a small budget, and the fact that we're none of us working on this thing have a lot of experience. I mean, this is only my second film, and for a lot of the other people working on it, this was the first thing they ever worked on. So we're all just kind of trying to get over the hump of our inexperience and lack of budget. But we're never trying to like make an intentionally bad movie. There might be things about it that people would say like are rough edges, but we tried our best to polish the edges as much as we could.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I think it looks great. I mean, I've watched a lot of indie movies in my time and stuff, and your films like Theta Girl as well. Both of these like hold up really well and they look really nice, super stylish and stuff, man. Like, yeah, definitely not low budget looking to me. I think they look great.
Thanks, I appreciate that. I mean, hopefully the next one we do will be even better. I mean, I watch these things and I see every mistake in them, and you know, a lot of times you can't fix those mistakes. Like you try your best in post production to correct any bad lighting or anything like that, or edit your way around a dodgy performance or what have you. But there's some mistakes you make in production that you just can't fix, and those drive me crazy. But I guess the good thing about those mistakes is that hopefully I won't make them a second time. And so the next movie that I do hopefully will look even better than the last one. And that's the goal, at least, is to just try to keep improving.
Right. Yeah, that's the same with like music and all too. When I was doing albums and all that stuff, like I would like critique the shit out of like our album before that one's like, oh, I don't want to do that next time. I want to improve, this way the next time, and all that stuff. It's over. You're always trying to improve.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some people that never do anything because they're worried about making a mistake and having their mistakes out there, and I don't worry about that so much. I feel like if you make a mistake, then you can learn from that, and then hopefully you'll do better the next time. I think that's the only way people improve. But the people that are so scared to not make a mistake in the first place are the people that never end up doing anything at all. And I was like that for a long time. I mean, I'm kind of late to the game as far as starting to make movies. And for a long time, I was just afraid of like screwing up. And I guess I got to the point where I just realized that I was getting older and that, I'm not going to get any younger. And that if I want to do this thing, I just got to do it. And I'm glad that I did. And I think anybody that wanted to like get into filmmaking should just fucking do it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I just started getting into like the whole podcast thing for me is brand fucking new. Like I've been writing reviews for a couple years now and doing some written reviews and all. And I've been thinking about it, like, dude, I want to do podcasting. So I just said, I'm fucking doing it. So a couple weekends ago, I got this shit started. I'm like, all right, we're doing podcasts now. I'm gonna venture out more, to like just expand more on my website and all that stuff. And you can't be afraid. You just gotta go out there and do it.
Right. That's the only way, and that's the only way anybody ever gets better. Is you know, just keep doing it.
What really got me into like doing the like audio interviews was Richard Stanley out of all people. I sent him a message on Facebook after I reviewed Color Out of Space, and I didn't know he was going to respond back to me about doing an
That's so
interview. And he didn't want to do a written interview. He wanted to do a Skype. I'm like, how about shit my pants? I'm like, okay.
wow.
Skype with Richard Stanley. Holy shit. So I was like,
That
I'm gonna
is
make this shit
that's
happen.
yeah, that's so cool. I mean, that guy is definitely an inspiration, and I really loved Hardware and Dust Devil, back in the day,
Right.
and I didn't even know, the whole story about Island of Dr. Moreau until years and years later when that documentary came out, and I watched that, and I was like, holy shit, like this guy like was just like this genius young filmmaker, and who kind of got in over his head on a thing, and then they basically just like flushed him down the toilet.
Yeah.
And it's just really a shame because the guy had so many like cool ideas, and Island Dr. Moreau probably would have been a much weirder and cooler movie. Well, I don't like. I might take that back because that movie was pretty weird, but it
It
was weird
was.
because Marlon Brando lost his mind,
Yep.
and he was just completely out of control. But yeah, I'm glad to see that Richard Stanley is like back, doing stuff and just sort of picking back up where he left off a long time ago. And yeah, Color Out of Space was a really cool movie. Definitely had some neat stuff going on in that thing.
Yeah, it was my favorite of last year and stuff. And last year there's a lot of good movies that came out, so it's kind of a hard choice as what's my number one. But I came out with that one just because that hits the marks for me. I like sci-fi horror and I like those trippy ass fucking movies and nailed everything with that, And Nick Cage
Yeah,
on top of everything.
yeah, and that's a really good performance from him too. Did you ever see the movie Annihilation?
Yeah, Annihilation was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, like I felt like there was a lot of similar themes explored in both of those movies. That would be like a good double feature, I think, those two
Yeah.
movies together.
Yeah, that would be a great double feature. They could actually take place in the same universe.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because it's really, I mean, I guess it all comes from H.P. Lovecraft is where like all those ideas sort of come from. But
hmm
yeah, cool stuff.
Yeah, he's definitely the godfather of all cosmic horror, like Lovecraft is. So everybody
Yeah,
draws influence from him, and you can't not draw influence from him.
yeah, yeah. It's weird, like because he's been, I think, so popular for so long, but it seemed like forever that anybody could make a good adaptation of any of his movies. And I think it's only more recently that people are kind of starting to get how to do that cinematically. Because I mean, for the longest time, I think the only one that was ever worth a damn was really Reanimator,
Yeah,
and that's not even like a cosmic horror type thing. That's not really what Lovecraft was known for, but that's just a good movie.
it is. It's one of my favorites, man. I love Reanimator.
Yeah, yeah, that performance by Jeffrey Combs in that's one of my favorite acting performances.
That made me get obsessed with Barbara Crampton as well. Like I
Oh
followed
my
her.
God.
Like yeah, and
Yeah.
she's still awesome even till this day. I don't think she ages any.
No, no, I've seen some recent photos of her. She looks fantastic.
Yeah, last thing I saw her in, well, one of the things I saw her and I thought was really cool was I don't know if you ever watched Channel Zero.
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh man, it's on Shudder now, I believe, but it was a sci-fi show, original sci-fi show for a little bit, and it's like four different seasons of it. Each season's different, and they take stories from a creepy pasta, I believe, and they turn them in their own thing with different directors every year.
Oh,
And
that's
dude,
cool.
it is so fucking good. It's one of the best shows that ever come on TV. It's different. It's creepy as hell. And like, there's a episode with Barbara Crampton on there, and she plays a psychiatrist and stuff. And that whole, I think it's the last season of Channel Zero, so it's like season four. I highly recommend that one.
Okay, I'll put it on the list. Check that out.
When it comes to like special effects and stuff and Bad Girls, like they came out great. I hardly see any CGI. I saw mostly like practical and stuff. Like how'd all that go? Like getting all that together and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of practical effects. Some of them I did, and we were like halfway through shooting the movie. Well, I tried to find somebody that could do the effects and just, locally, and came up empty-handed. And so I tried to do some of them. Like I did the baby that gets blown away.
Yeah, I love
And
that one.
thanks. That was
That
that
was,
was fun to shoot because
that was awesome.
yeah. Um, but luckily, like halfway through production, I found this kid in Charleston, Hayden, that Hayden Bogan, who just did really cool. Like I saw like his portfolio, and it was like such cool stuff. And so like halfway through production, we got him on, and so like some of the stuff we did, especially like in the end, where like Val gets shot in the face, and like the
hmm
blood is just sort of like coming out of the wound in her face and everything. He did all that, and just like really killed it. I wish I'd had him, for the entire movie, but again, like when you make these movies, it's all sort of a learning process. And now I know, like, the next movie I do, like, I'll just go straight to him, and anything he comes up with is going to be cool. So, but yeah, there's some visual effects stuff too, and we tried to blend some of it together. A guy named Jamie Clark did all the visual effects, and he did all the practical and visual effects on the Theta
Hmm.
Girl, and I think there's some kind of cool stuff he did on that. And that was the first thing he'd ever done. So that, like, again, like with everybody else that works on these things, it's just like their school, like this is my like filmmaking school, and this was like his like effects school, and just figuring out how to do stuff, like going on YouTube and watching tutorials to learn how to you know bash somebody's head in on screen or whatever.
Right. He did a hell of a job, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, yeah, I'm so stoked with the work. I mean, both of those guys, Jamie and Hayden, just really killed it. And being able to like do this stuff again on, practically no budget is pretty astounding.
Yeah, it's crazy because, like I said, I've seen a lot of indie films and with no budgets at all and stuff, and yours like ranks way beyond a bunch of these ones I've seen when it comes to effects and just the way it looks and everything. You'd be surprised, man. I've seen some things.
Yeah, well, I have too, and especially like going to film festivals and stuff like that. You see stuff, and I don't, I'm not going to shit on anybody's work because I know how hard it is to do this
Right.
stuff. But sometimes it's kind of like, are you sure you wanted to show that one? Like
Yeah.
there's some every now and then I'm like, oh, you're not quite ready.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I I got to experience all that firsthand. I was an extra on a movie called Science Team. It was me, my wife, and some friends, and we did this like years ago up in I think West Virginia, I believe. It was a movie
Hmm.
called Science Team, and I think Troma picked it up. I'm not too sure on that, but we were out there for like 10 hours, sweating our balls off in these like pink outfits we had to wear, made out of fucking burlap
Uh,
sack. We are playing like these scientists trying to find this alien and stuff. And yeah, the work that goes into that, like especially behind the scenes, people don't understand, man. Like, and this is a low budget movie as well. Like, that's why I don't never like bash on movies. That's not what I do. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of assholes out there that bash on movies all the time and stuff. And I know the work that goes into that shit, and it's crazy.
yeah, I'm definitely way less critical of things now that I've made a movie because you don't, if you've never done it, you don't know like just how hard it is. Like every single shot is just an ordeal to like get it together, and to be able to finish those shots and then get it all edited into anything is really, it's a miracle that anything ever gets made. So I'm much kinder uh towards stuff, and especially low budget stuff. I definitely grade on a curve when when I see stuff that I know was made for under $50,000 or
Yep.
whatever. It's just like, you know, and a lot of times the ideas that you'll see in those movies are like really far out and way cooler than anything you'd see in a Hollywood movie.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, I'm a lot harsher on the Hollywood films that come out because they got like millions and millions and millions out to fuck around with and stuff. So, I'm pretty critical on those. But when it comes like the indie stuff, like you're saying, like just the work and all that stuff and what they do with what they have is just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, with a big budget Hollywood movie, like if the lighting looks like shit or whatever, you're gonna notice it, and you might call it out. But like something that somebody spent $10,000 on, like you can be really forgiving. I mean, to me, the main thing is it entertaining, and I don't know. I've seen a lot of like cheap movies that entertain me a lot more than you know huge budget Hollywood movies. I mean, the main thing is just like with Hollywood now, fucking everything is either a reboot or a sequel or a franchise.
Right.
And and I know why that is. It's because it costs so much money to make a movie. Like if you're spending $50 million to make your movie, you got to be sure that people are going to buy a ticket for it. And so they always go with the sure thing. They're not going to take a chance on anything. But that's why, for like man, maybe like 2 decades now. Just like every major Hollywood movie is one of those things. It's just like the franchise reboot or sequel, and very rarely is there like a new idea coming in there, and that's why like these like tiny independent films are so important right now because that's where all the new ideas are coming out. You know, it's
Yeah, most
like
definitely.
yeah, like they can't afford to buy the rights to a Marvel comic book character or whatever, so they're going to come up with their own new shit, and usually it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm about burned out on the superhero stuff myself. I'd rather watch the anti-hero movies. You
Yeah,
know, like
yeah,
I like the old school Blade and all that stuff. You know, I like those type movies. Like, I just can't get into the Marvel universe myself.
yeah. And I mean, I'm not gonna shit on those movies at all, and lots of people enjoy them, and I'll enjoy one from time to time
Right.
myself. But the thing I will tell you is that oftentimes I'll watch like either a Marvel or a DC like superhero movie, and yeah, I'll be entertained for an hour and a half or 2 hours, but like a week later, I can't tell you anything that happened in that movie. It was
Hmm.
because they're all interchangeable, and it's just like, oh well, there was a lot of explosions, but
Right.
like you know I should be able to a week later tell you like something about one of the characters, like something interesting about the story, and oftentimes I can't. Like they're all so forgettable because they're interchangeable, at least to me. And I don't know. That's like being a filmmaker now and having people come to me afterwards and they tell me, what their favorite character was. Like that's the best compliment I can get because they remembered.
Hmm.
They remembered a character's name. You
Right.
know, that's a huge deal because there's so many movies I watch I couldn't even tell you the names of anybody in it.
Yeah,
Like
same.
like it's in like one ear not the other, and like 2 hours later, you couldn't say like who was who.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, like I was saying, that's a huge compliment if somebody's like, "Oh, I really love Rusty." It's like, wow, like you remembered his name. That's really cool.
Like with your main stars and Bad Girls, they're definitely memorable and badass, as his name says. Bad Girls, badass. You know, kind of goes together. Did you
Thank.
find them like locally or like a
Yeah,
lot of
that's
them
all.
I'm not sure
Yeah,
about, you know?
yeah, that's all local people. Just because we are on such a low budget that
Hmm.
we can only shoot on weekends because we all have day jobs.
Right.
So and I know that like if I hired somebody from out of Colombia, then you know if we missed a shooting day or if we needed to do a pickup shot or anything, it would be so difficult to bring somebody back after our regular shooting schedule. So I intentionally did cast everyone locally so
Hmm.
that if anything got screwed up with the schedule, I'd be able to bring them back easily. Uh, it's really hard. Columbia's kind of a smallish town,
Right.
and if somebody's in high school and they want to be an actor and they're really talented or like they're really creative in some way, um, or they're like have a really commanding screen presence, like most of those kids when they graduate high school they leave Columbia. They go to New York or LA or Chicago or wherever,
Right.
and so it does like make it difficult. So you have to look really hard to find the people that are talented, but also like stayed,
Hmm.
in Columbia for whatever reason. But if you look hard enough, you find them. It's when I was casting for this movie, actually both movies that I've done, like that to me was like the most important part. And so I was really picky, uh, probably to a degree where I was just like annoying the other people that I was working with.
Right.
Um, and I think they were thinking that I was having trouble making decisions with the casting, but what it was that I knew I had to nail it, and if I felt like any one of the characters that like I hadn't found the right person yet, I would just keep looking. Like I wouldn't settle on somebody if I didn't think that they were the perfect one for that character.
Mm-hmm.
So that took a long time to cast just because of that. But then I found everybody, and I was very satisfied with everybody that got cast in the job that they did. I thought everybody was really great in it.
Yeah, same here. I thought they nailed it, and they played their parts really well, and they're very believable and stuff like that. So, and that's cool. They're all local, which is, that's a bonus.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I consider myself very, very blessed to have found all these cool people. And when I say cool people, like I mean like they were all like cool to work with too. Like
Mhm.
not just that they did a good job, but like nobody was an asshole.
All
Like
right.
everybody was like just fun to be around.
And you get bonus points for having Jay be the strip club guy. I thought that was
Oh
awesome seeing Jay in there.
yeah. Well, Jay has been like a good friend of mine for a really long time, and so I really wanted to put him in there somewhere, and I thought that was a good role for him.
Yeah, Jay's
And
awesome.
for people that live in Colombia that know him, like everybody's really excited to see
Hmm.
to see Jay, and then just to see him get shot in the face.
Yeah, I'm like, oh hey, there's Jay. Like, oh, Jay's going. That
Yeah,
was pretty
bye,
epic
Jay.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to know him. He helped record, I think, three of our albums, him and Philip, at Jam
Oh,
Room. So that's how
oh
I got
yeah.
to know Jay and stuff. And Jay's a badass, man.
He's an awesome dude. The guy is he's just a saint. I mean, I've been in bands that recorded with him, and just the fact that he put up with us and our bullshit is just like to me like makes him just the most patient man on the planet.
Yeah, and you definitely had to have some patience for that type of job. Like, I don't know how he does it in like eight
Yeah,
hours in there dealing with different personalities all day.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
he's it's just because he's just a nice, just one of the most genuinely nice guys like you could ever
yeah,
meet.
yeah, I totally agree. Um, what was I going to ask you? Oh, I was going to see like what kind of horror are you into? Like, especially like over the past, let's say, 10 years. What's some of your like favorites? And it's a couple, that really stand out.
Um, like horror is my favorite genre, but like I'm really into 80s horror, and
Hmm.
like I really love 80s slasher movies. That's probably my favorite. But as far as more recent stuff, the stuff that's really grabbed me the most is sort of the more artsy stuff. Um, like most recently, Possessor.
Oh
The
yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really good.
Hmm.
Um, my favorite movie of the last 10 years, and I guess it's arguable. Some people say it's a horror movie, and some say it's not. But Mother,
Oh,
uh,
that's a good one.
like I love that movie. And if that counts as a horror movie, that's my favorite.
I count it.
But, like Hereditary and Midsummer and all that stuff. Like anything that's sort of has like an artful quality to it is the
Yeah.
stuff that's really been impressing me as of late. So I want to do a horror movie for the next movie, but I'm kind of stuck on which direction I want to go. I have like five different like half ideas and no whole ideas, and because like I don't want to do a just don't want to do a slasher movie, even though like that's the genre that I love. I just feel like
Right.
it's really been done. Um, so I'm not sure which direction to go in, but like I said, the recent stuff that I've loved so much is the stuff that's where it gets a little like heady and weird.
Yeah, I'm right with you on that. That's all those movies you mentioned there, are like some of my favorites as well. Like I'm all into like the shit that makes you really think. Like
Yeah,
I love slashers too, and I love 80s horror movies. Those are some of my favorites, man. Even till this day, I'm finding ones I haven't seen before, which is crazy. But for
yeah,
new stuff, it's definitely the more like A24 films or
yeah,
Anything SpiderVision does, I'm on board because they're fucking awesome, and A24.
yeah. A24 is one of those ones where it's just like they've been able to make a name for themselves just by putting out quality product over and over. It's one of those ones where it's like if something's coming out from them, you're probably gonna like it.
Yeah, and they're thinking beyond the box too, which I like a lot. It's not like, oh, it's not another zombie film or some other bullshit. You know, I'm so tired of zombie films. I'm good, man. You know, I
Right.
don't need any
And that,
more.
yeah, that's the other thing, kind of along the lines of the slasher movies. Like I love zombie movies so much, but like the world does not need another zombie movie.
No,
Like
no.
we're at critical mass with that shit. And you know, it's like when I was a kid, it would have been my dream, to make a zombie movie. And now I thought it was like, oh, I could do a zombie. Like, no, no, that would be terrible. Do a zombie movie. Like we don't need another one.
Yeah, I'm thankful you didn't do that. You did something totally different, awesome, and not a zombie movie. So it's great, especially when you're trying to review stuff. You're like, no more zombies, please. I mean, have watched some zombie movies that are pretty cool, some newer ones that come out and stuff like that, but it's not really my taste. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's just I think if that's what you're gonna do, you're almost kind of constrained by that genre now, because just it's not like you're gonna make a better movie than George Romero.
Right.
It's like why bother?
You got Romero, then you have 28 Days Later. You know, the opposite sides of zombie movies. Like you
Yeah,
can't really do much better than either one of those movies. I mean, I think they
yeah,
set like the bar for zombie films.
yeah. I'd agree with you on that.
What do you think? I'm gonna like ask everybody I talk to now what their thoughts on Mandy is, because that's my favorite movie of the past 10 years, maybe 20 years. It might not be beat forever, so I don't know. Are you a fan of Mandy?
I liked Mandy, and I wanted to love it, and I
Hmm.
didn't love it. But I think the reason is because I had an expectation, and it didn't meet my expectation, maybe.
Hmm.
I really, really, really loved Beyond the Black Rainbow.
Oh,
Like
same here.
that movie blew me away. And that's, kind of another example that, like I was talking about horror movies that are just kind of artsy and heady. And so I was really stoked on that movie. And, when I heard the guy was making a new movie and that Nicolas Cage was going to be in it, like acting all crazy, I got really stoked. And then I don't know why I didn't love it. Like it's almost like I should have loved it because it hit all the marks,
Right.
but it might be because it hit all the marks that it didn't surprise me. That might be it. It
Hmm.
didn't surprise me. I don't even know if that makes any sense.
Oh, it does.
Um,
No, I get what you're
I
saying.
thought it was a little long. I wished that it would have been like 30 minutes shorter, and maybe with a tighter cut. Maybe I would
Hmm.
have liked it more. But yeah, it's like I liked it. I liked it. Um, I wish I could say it was my favorite movie, like you were saying there, but I'm not in a hurry to watch it again, and that to me that's the test, and that might be because I thought it was kind of long. It's like if I watch a movie and then I want to see it again, um, then to me like that's a really good movie, and I haven't had a desire to watch it another time since I saw it. But maybe I
Right.
need to watch it again. Maybe I was just in a bad mood, Who
Yeah.
knows?
I say definitely watch it again with your volume to the fucking max, man, because that really adds to the whole atmosphere of Mandy. Is that soundtrack? Holy shit.
Yeah, it is a great soundtrack.
Yeah, I listen to that when I'm riding my car to work sometimes, man, just blowing my speakers out with it because it's super bass heavy. And one of the dudes from Sun, I can't think of the name off the top of my head right now. He helped contribute to that soundtrack, and also,
Okay.
Johansson, who's the main guy behind, the composer of
Yep.
that. Like, that's a hell
Yeah.
of a team right there.
And then like isn't there like a King Crimson song in that movie too? Maybe at the
I believe
beginning.
so. I think
Yeah,
so. I think so.
yeah, yeah. That's my jam too. I love King Crimson.
I look forward to seeing what else Panos Cosmatos comes out with because he's only done the two films, Mandy and Beyond the Black Rainbow. But it seems like he waits in the shadows and this pops up with something really badass. So hopefully he's working on something maybe as we speak. I don't know, but it'd be nice.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he is. Because I mean, like I said, Beyond the Black Rainbow really just floored me. Like when I saw that, I was like, man, it's like this guy's the new David Cronenberg
Yeah.
here. Um, and maybe that's what bothered me about Mandy That I wanted something like more Cronenbergish, and then what I got was something that was a little more comic booky,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't a bad thing, but again, I think it says more about me and my expectations than the actual film failing in any way. So I think my problem with Mandy is just that I wanted something different than what I got. So that's
Right.
on me.
Right. Well, that's definitely fair. And a fun fact, did you know that Panos' father did Cobra, the movie Cobra with special with not Sylvester, yeah, Sylvester Stallone, yeah. That came out in like what, the 80s, I believe.
Yeah, I think I'd heard that somewhere
Yeah.
before. I knew that his father was a filmmaker and had done some cool stuff,
Hmm.
and I don't know if I knew that it was Cobra, but that's really awesome.
Yeah, that's a great 80s throwback, even with the shitty music that's in there. I always thought the music was better when I was younger until I re-watched it not too long ago. Like, oh, music's not that great. It doesn't really match the film very well because the film's
Yeah,
super dark and stuff, and it's got real poppy ass music in it, you know?
right. Yeah,
It's still
yeah,
awesome. I love it.
yeah. That's a cool one. I haven't watched that in a long time, but I'd like to revisit that because I remember thinking back in the day that that was like a movie that should have been way bigger than it was.
Yeah, it should have been. It's gotten a big cult following as of late. It just came out with the 4K Blu-ray of it, which I got like the special edition or whatever, and it's pretty cheap. It's like 14 bucks if you can find it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's nice seeing it in actual 4K. It looks great.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna have to pick that up.
Hmm. What are your like future plans movie-wise? I know you're telling me you got a bunch of ideas in your head and stuff. What's the future for you?
Yeah, I'm dying to get started on something, and I guess my problem is that I do have like a bunch of different ideas, and it's hard to get attached enough to any one of them to sort of flesh it out and make it into something whole. So I just need to like find the time to sit down and do that and start writing because I really want to get back into production as soon as possible. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Just and I'm still, of course, trying to promote Bad Girls as much as I can. So every day I'm, sending out press releases or doing this or that, and trying to get the word out for that thing. And you know, hopefully, I mean, that movie has made its money back.
Hmm.
It's nice if I could make enough money, like profit off of it, so that I could just, use that money towards making the next movie, and then I wouldn't have to do, you know, so much crowdfunding stuff. I mean, I don't hate doing crowdfunding, but also it's kind of a pain in the ass, and I don't like just happen to like beg for money from
Yeah.
people,
Mm.
but but I also don't have money, so it's
Right.
like the movie has to get made some way, and you gotta pay people.
Hmm.
So so yeah, I'm just gonna try and like squeeze as much money out of Bad Girls as I can to hopefully have enough to put towards the next movie, and then hopefully have a script written by summertime.
Hmm. That's good goals and stuff. And every time I see you post something about Bad Girls, I always try to share it for you because I'm pretty good with that. I ran promotion for the band for like 15 years, so I know how to fucking spam people with shit, you know?
Yeah, I really appreciate that too. Like I see every time you share one of those things, and you're pretty relentless with it. Like I was like,
Oh yeah.
man, this guy's good. So thank you for that.
Oh, it's my pleasure, man. I love like helping out wherever I can. I don't direct or nothing like that. I do some writing. I'm doing some short stories right now. Who knows what that might turn into? I've had some people read some of them and they like them and stuff, but you never know. It could turn into something. But as of now, I try to promote the shit out of horror because I love it and film in general.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. And
Hmm.
yeah, like you write some short story. You should think about shooting some of them.
You never know. I have some ideas in my head for like artwork and all this stuff already. And the
Yeah.
one had people read now is about I kind of based off our cats we have here, which is crazy. It's kind of like what cats do when you're not home and stuff, and it's like a found footage type thing. You got some
Uh-huh.
video cameras on them and stuff, and you find out they're not what you think they are. So
Oh, that's
pretty, I think
cool.
it's pretty creepy. It's got, it's found footage, but I think it works for that,
Nice.
Yeah. So who knows what might happen with that? I'm going to actually do a whole book of short stories. I have some other ideas in mind I want to do. So I have time to do all that stuff now since I'm kind of dedicating everything like the horror stuff and movie stuff and everything now. So
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, and it's really cool. It de-stressifies me, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Time is a thing I wish I had more of. You know, I work a 40-hour a week day job and do movie stuff on the weekends and some evenings. And it's hard, man. Like I wish I could do movie stuff full time. That would be fun.
Hmm. Yeah, work sucks. I hate
Yeah.
it. I'm
Yeah.
up at
I've,
4:30 every damn morning. Like I don't get home till 3:30, and like fuck.
yeah, that's a tough schedule.
Yeah, and now we're getting ready for this giant golf tournament to come through, and I'll be working that. So that means like 2 or 3 weeks straight and no time off. Holy shit, sucks.
Yeah. But you got to pay them bills.
Yeah, it pays for what you love to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's the thing, my job is a lot sometimes, but like that's the reason why I can make movies. It's like my bills are paid, so I've got the weekends open, so I can just get out there and be filming stuff.
Well, I think you're doing a great job, man. Like I said, I love both your films I've seen. I've reviewed Theta Girl. When was it? Whenever it came out, it was a few years ago because Philip Cope told me about it. I was like, hell yeah, check out it. As you know, it's local as well. I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, yeah, this is awesome. You're on to something big here, I think.
Well, cool. Thanks. Yeah, that's cool that Philip turned you on to that.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Yeah, Philip's awesome. I'm gonna have him on the podcast eventually too to talk horror because he knows a shit ton about horror movies. It's like, and that's a rarity when I'm talking horror with people out in public or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
there's certain types like, oh, you know this one? Oh, I don't know that one. But me and him go down a rabbit hole with shit.
I'd like to do a music video for him sometime. That's a thing that I've just started kind of messing with a little bit is doing music videos, and he's always got something cooking, so I need to get up with him and talk about doing a music video.
Yeah, that would be badass doing one with Oak Skin, his new
Yeah,
band. That's really cool.
yeah, I like those guys. I've heard a couple of tracks and I've dug what I've heard so far.
Yeah, they're awesome people and stuff. I've known Philip for a while now. Like I got to know him from recording as well with him and Jay. We did, I think it was one of our first albums, and he was like the man behind it, made us sound great. And from then on,
Yeah,
we just had a friendship after that.
yeah, good guy.
Yeah, yes. All right, well, Chris, it was great talking with you and stuff. I'm going ahead and wrap it up now. And
Okay.
yeah, I appreciate you being on here and stuff. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I wish the best for you, like movie wise and everything else wise in the future.
yeah. Thanks for having me on it, and thanks for helping to spread the word about it and everything. I really really appreciate that.
Oh, it's my pleasure, man. Anything I can do to help promote, I'm on it. So anything you got up there, I will promote the shit out of it.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, let's do this again sometime.
Sounds good. We definitely will. And Chris, you have a good rest of your day, man.
All right. We'll talk soon.
Alrighty. Later.
Bye bye.